Again, calling this meeting to order 11 a.m. for our regular Elyria Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday, April 5th. And a correction to the agenda is 2022. I'll go ahead and ask that the secretary call the meeting, do a roll call to make sure we have a quorum.
Tom Aiden, Sam Battle,
Here.
Barry Hubbard, Jim Onderko,
Here.
Dawn Calvert,
Here.
Mayor Whitfield,
Here.
Derek Tedrow.
So we have 4 present and 3 absent, so we do have a quorum, and we only have 3 items of business today. But before we get into that, I'd like to share there was some confusion and mishaps around public notice, and so Jim Taylor is gonna share, but I know we have a group here that was concerned about one of the things that was gonna be on the agenda. But the meeting where that will be discussed will be on May 3rd. That's the regular Planning Commission meeting in May at the same time, 11 o'clock at the same location here in Council Chambers. The reason we had to reschedule the meeting was because our policy is that on certain items, residents have to be notified 10 days in advance so that they can have time to plan, and be prepared and do whatever they need to do to be able to be a proponent or opponent of a project. And there were some errors administratively with getting things mailed out, so only half of the people got notices, so we weren't able to move forward with that today. There was a couple items that we weren't able to move forward with today, but the things we will be discussing are things that don't require the public, the 10-day public notice. And so I'll let our attorney kind of, if I missed anything there, you can go ahead and chime in.
Hi, folks. I'm Jim Taylor. I'm the Administrative Legal Counsel, and one of my jobs is to supervise the Planning Commission process, okay? Unfortunately, through a clerical error from the office, the notice, as the mayor said, didn't go out. Not only is it a procedure, but it's a requirement, okay? You have to send out the notice for 10 days as to both sides, an opponent, a proponent, the applicant, so that everybody knows what's going to take place. I made the decision, I'll take the heat, when I was made aware Friday of what happened, and I didn't know until Friday, I indicated that we had to cancel the 3 public hearings because I believe if you had the hearings without people having the proper notice, then they would be subject to an appeal by either side, the proponents or the opponents and the applicant, that we didn't follow a procedure. So again, apologize that it happened. That's the first time I know that's ever happened, but it did. And again, some people did get notice, but we got a lot of calls on Thursday and Friday. And unfortunately, that's when we figured out what had happened. So it is what it is, and I can't change those fact patterns. And to protect everybody's interest, because if half of you got the letter and some people didn't, it wouldn't be fair that only 80% of the people were represented or could make a response. So it wasn't in to favor one side or the other or the applicant. It was a procedure that was inadvertently not processed correctly. So we have corrected that. It should never happen again, but it did, and it was a mistake, and it was an honest mistake by staff. So at this point, we're going to take those 3 public hearings off the agenda. We were going to try to move them up to an earlier special meeting just to assist everybody, but we need a quorum and to try to
No special meeting, it's just gonna be on May 3rd.
We were going to try, but we could not get the required members to be able to all be here because everybody's schedules in their life. So we're going to do everything at the next Planning Commission hearing meeting, which I believe is May 3rd, Mayor?
May 3rd.
And that's the explanation. If anybody has any questions afterwards or wants to ask me now, I'll be glad to talk to you, but that's how it's going to go, and that's the requirement, so that everybody fairly is on the same page.
Thank you, Jim. So yeah, well, as I mentioned to the group, I'm gonna stick around afterwards if you care to share some of your concerns. As I shared with some of the folks out there, one way of making sure your voice is heard is, of course, being at the meeting on May 3rd and sharing. The other is to put it in written communication and send it to myself, mayor@cityofelyria.org or fwhitfield@cityofelyria.org, and those will get read off. When we get to the opponent section, we'll actually read off the comments. And the part of the process is once it gets approved or not approved, through Planning Commission, it then goes to City Council. And if it's not approved at this level, City Council has to have a certain majority to override our decision. And then they also, if we approve, they can also reject it at their level as well. So there's multiple phases and steps to this, but That's the picture we have. May 3rd, 11 o'clock is when it'll be officially heard. So with that being said, on today's agenda, we have 3 items that should be fairly quick. The first, though, is the approval of the minutes from the March 1st meeting. Can I have a motion to approve? Been moved by Mr. Battles. There's a second.
Second.
Second by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. The first is the old business, and this is 353, 355, 357, 359, and 361 Broad Street, Elyria, Ohio, requesting a waiver to the design review for the removal of aluminum framing to expose stonework and install new windows. This was approved on the September 7th Planning Commission, but coming before us due to a revision that was tabled at the March 1st meeting. So, Director Scott.
Through you, yes. As you stated, this was approved back in September. The applicant, his original proposal was to have the building look like it did originally, historically, but upon removing that facade that was on there, it was discovered that there were glass block windows. So the way I had completed the revised design review, those glass block windows, they are currently on the building. He did install the new windows with no change to trim or opening or anything like that. However, the difference is the glass block will remain, so it will not be like one full panel of glass. Community Development does recommend approval of this revision.
I see Mr. Jamil is here. Anything you want to add?
I think everything was discussed properly.
Okay, any questions from the commission? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to, go ahead, Jim.
You'll have to advise Mr. Elder that there's only 4, so that he has a decision.
Oh, yeah, so there's only 4 of us today, so you have the right to say, no, I would rather the whole body be here, or if you're okay with us moving forward with the 4 of us. Are you okay with okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Jim. So, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the request for the waiver?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Calvert. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Battle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have 333 Broad Street, another waiver request for design review for the removal of wooden windows on Depot Street and replacing them with vinyl windows. The outside windows will be bronze with aluminum trim. Inside windows will be white. Director Scott.
Through you, so the applicant submitted a design review application for 12 windows to be replaced on Depot Street. The applicant did receive Planning Commission approval a couple of years ago for front facade improvements. Community Development is recommending approval of this waiver for the vinyl windows. They are going to be dark in color. The commission has approved vinyl windows for the downtown area in the past as long as they were dark in color. So based on that, prior precedent, we recommend approval.
Yeah, thank you for that, Director Scott. Appreciate the staff putting the work in to make sure we're being consistent. Is there anybody from 333 Broad Street here that would like to share anything? Okay. All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the request for a waiver to the design review for 333 Broad Street?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Calvert. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Battle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we have RBR Development 27201 Royalton Road, Columbia Station 44028. This is a request for a final plat for Phase 2 of River Run Landing Subdivision. Chief Building Official, is it coming to you first, Mr. Farkas?
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. The proponent is requesting approval for a Phase 2 of a proposed residential plan unit development, RPUD. This phase includes 10.1984 acres and is focalized on the southwest portion of the subdivision known as River Run Drive, and consists of 42 sublots. Staff findings and recommendations. This second phase of the residential development appears to adhere to the original subdivision zoning review and the first of a multiple phase development. I recommend approval of the Phase 2 of the subdivision contingent all requirements have been satisfied with the City Engineering Department. I will defer to the Engineering Department report for further recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Mr. Schneider?
Thank you, Mr. President. Engineering has reviewed the plat, and it conforms to city standards, and we do recommend approval as well.
Awesome. Assistant Chief Gall, anything you want to add? Okay, thank you. And I see we have a proponent here. Would you like to say your name and address? It can be business address for the record, and feel free to elaborate.
I'm Richard Barron with RBR Development, 27201 Royalton Road, Columbia Station, Ohio. No, I was going to say the same thing, that we followed the original meetings that we had and have followed all the directives from the city engineer and from council and from planning commission.
And where exactly is this development located?
It's on Middle Avenue, directly across from Arco. Phase 1 is in. Ryan Homes is presently building homes in that area. It's right north of the Colonial Oaks.
Yep. And how has it been going so far? How's the development been going?
It's gone very well. Ryan's gentlemen, 35 of 41 are under construction in Phase 1. They're sold out. With the rest of the lots are sold out.
Nice, nice, good stuff. Any questions from the commission? Oh, yeah, same thing. The option for you is only 4 of us out of the 7. Would you like to continue to move forward with the 4 of us?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Taylor. Hearing that, is there a motion to approve the request for the final plat for Phase 2 of the River Run Landing subdivision? Moved by Mr. Battle. Is there a second? Second by Jim. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So you should have received a summary of reports from the community development of the different applications that have been approved by the design review staff. Is there any other commission reports? Again, I apologize for the inconvenience and for the mishap. And we will try to make sure that this May 3rd meeting, you should bring some Gatorade and some snacks, because it's going to be a long agenda. So be ready for the May 3rd meeting. And I think that's election day too, so it'll be a very interesting day. But if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Calvert. Is there a second? Second by Jim. Hearing any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. All right, motion adjourned. Our meeting adjourned, sorry.